Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and today we're going to go over what's happening in Venice Beach and what can we do. I saw a video last night from one of my favorite influencers. His name is called German in Venice, is his channel. He goes around Venice Beach and shoots because he's been living in Venice Beach for over 30 years. And I remember a while ago, around 2020, when he was shooting and when his channel was picking up, I went and I drove to Venice Beach to go meet this guy. I was with one of my friends, Xander, a really tall guy. I don't know if he remembers, but we went into his shop and spoke with him. I always loved his energy, and we have things in common. Like 30 years ago, we used to watch Hollywood from home, and we came here to live it. What's the point of watching it on TV when you can come and see it for yourself, right? So I've always loved Venice Beach. Listen, no matter how corporate or how mainstream or I've always loved Venice Beach, even when I was far from being an artist. So this video touched my heart a lot yesterday because first, this person's incredible. He has incredible energy. And he feels the same way as I do. We're very sad to see what's happening because Venice Beach has gone down, and you're going to see in the video. Nobody wants to see dead dolphins. Nobody wants to see dead whales. Nobody wants to put their water, like their feet in super black water. Listen, the water is so disgusting. There's ash. You put your feet in the water, ash gets stuck to your legs. Like you have to go back to the water to rinse it off, and I'm not going to rinse it off there. Like I got to walk all the way to a bathroom to rinse it off in the shower. And where do you think that shower water is coming from? It's coming from the ocean. So nobody wants to come to Venice Beach, and I don't blame them. I live here and I don't even want to go to Venice Beach anymore, and I love Venice Beach. I wanted to move there. It's so funny, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, I said I wanted to move there, and like, no, look now, now I don't want to move there. Nobody wants to move there. It's crazy how they target the artists, and that's what they do. They target the artists because, and this is how I know. And Iran and has had a lot of war. Like when I was born, it was the Iran and Iraq war. That was like a 10-year-old war. My mom was so used to it. She was like, oh, we're hearing bombs like fall, and she was in the kitchen cooking. She was pregnant like that. Like, it's horrible conditions. But they learn to adapt, and for them, bombs falling on the head, it's a normal thing. Just a regular day. It's crazy. And then when that revolution happened, I personally think, in my personal opinion, there was propaganda. Like when they killed that girl, they killed her in a really bad way, and then they broadcasted pictures. And it's funny because there's no media over there. So now they broadcasted pictures, they put it all over the internet. So of course the girls saw that and they went crazy. On the 16th of September 2022, a 22-year-old Kurdish Iranian woman, Mahsa Amini, also known as Gina Amini, died in a hospital in Tehran, Iran, under suspicious circumstances. The Guidance Patrol, the religious morality police of Iran's government, had arrested Amini for allegedly not wearing the hijab in accordance with government standards. The Law Enforcement Command of the Islamic Republic of Iran stated that she had a heart attack at a police station, collapsed, and fell into a coma before being transferred to a hospital. However, eyewitnesses, including women who were detained with Amini, reported that she was severely beaten and that she died as a result of police brutality, which was denied by the Iranian authorities. Of course, they're going to deny it, right? The assertions of police brutality, in addition to leaked medical scans, led some observers to believe Amini had a cerebral hemorrhage or stroke due to head injuries received after her arrest. Amini's death resulted in a series of protests described by CNN as more widespread than the protests in 2009, 2017, and 2019, and by the New York Times as the largest Iranian protests since at least 2009. So you see, we're used to it, This has been going on for a very, Very, very long time, as you can see, unfortunately. So they killed her, did that. Of course, regular girls went crazy and they're like, we're fed up. So they opened their hair and then they would start getting killed. Of course, the government knew that once we start killing all these girls, the men, they're going to jump in. They're going to jump in to defend. Okay? So when the men jump in to defend, what do? They change target. They're like, oh, let's add now. Let's, instead of just killing the girls, let's kill the men too. And I remember they went after all the artists. They did. They did. Like, they weren't killing regular Joes like selling bread on the street. They didn't care about those. They were aiming at the artists. Like a five-star chef, he died. There was a, kung fu master guy, he died. There was like so many artists, so many artists. They all went towards the most intelligent, most creative person because they're the threat, right? Artists are the threat. Because regular people, they're like, they're part of the program. They don't really know what's going on because they're from the inside. But the artists, they're so abstract that they figured it out. When I was young, I didn't care for artists. Like, I didn't even see their points. Like, I would listen to music and this and that. I tried to play instruments, but that was not my focus. My focus was computer science, the real world. It's computers, people, mainstream, That was my focus. Artists were not my focus. Like, I never even understood how artists made money, and like, maybe today that's why I'm in this situation, because in my head, that wasn't a real job, It's unfortunate to say, but this is how the programmed people see it. I'm pretty sure not anymore, because now that everyone's on social media, it's like, wow, finally we have art, we have something to enlighten us or save us from this misery, But back in the days, we weren't miserable. We were having a great time. Even watching these crappy shows, we would have a great time. So we never looked really to art, We saw it like on Hollywood and TV, but again, it was like science fiction. It wasn't like the real life for us. So now that I saw what happened in Iran and why they went straight towards the artists, that's what they did. They killed all special talents, most, intelligent, this and that. Now, I'm not saying if, you're alive, you're not intelligent. You probably got away with it. But the ones that I saw that we were always like, holding funerals every week on social media because, oh, no, another one's dead, another one's dead. I remember I was very, being very close to what's happening. Horrible, horrible. But why do they go after our artists? You already cannot be much of an artist in Iran, So the ones that actually made it, like, why not leave them alone? They're not affecting society. They don't have that much influence, trust me, When the majority are super religious, a few artists isn't going to break anything. But it's crazy how they went straight to them. They killed every single like super talent, especially the kung fu masters and this and that. They were the first ones to go, like the wrestlers. Wrestling's huge in in Turkey, Iran, and this and that. So, they went after those types of people, artists, restaurant, chef, musicians. It's ridiculous. Anyways, but they have a purpose. Why are they doing that? So in my opinion, this is the same thing in Venice Beach. They are targeting, our artists. They're targeting our, the little things, little entertainment that we have left, Imagine there's no more entertainment, We saw what happened in Israel, right? Like, they were throwing a party outside. And I've been to these psytrance parties. They're a lot of fun. And they are not dangerous at all. Even if you're going to the beach for 3 days in a row throwing a party and you're allowed to do whatever you want, Yeah, you're allowed to do whatever you want, but I've never seen anyone get hurt under my eyes. I've seen like a few harassments, but you see those in clubs too, So there's nothing dangerous about having a good time. There's nothing dangerous about, partying. But when they're targeting people having a good time, then it's over. Because if you target the people that are high vibe, then, the low vibe people have no chance. They have no one to look up to and be like, oh, at least some people are enjoying their, their life, even if we're not, let's say. So that's why the artist world has to remain. Okay. If anything, all of our focus has to go towards the artist world. No matter where we come from, no matter what our differences are, no matter, what my personal goal is versus your personal goal, I'm going to end up in my Sprinter, trust me, but that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, right? We each have goals that we're targeting, but the main goal should be saving the artists. Okay? So after watching the video yesterday, I was affected, but in a good way, because I love the fact that I have eyes everywhere. I have eyes towards the ocean. People looking at the water saying, "Hey, hey, this just died. This just died." I have eyes on farmlands, I have eyes in cities. I have eyes downtown. I have eyes everywhere thanks to Instagram and thanks to me. So now I can see everything from the inside, which is really important because at a company, you need somebody on the floor. And this is why, a president will always put somebody on their floor. They need eyes there, right? The president's not going to go sit in a corner and watch everybody, right? And he's not going to put cameras either, right? But he's going to have someone on the floor that's constantly just supervising and reporting if something goes wrong, right? So this is how I see it. Everybody are my eyes, right? So everybody report as much as possible. And listen, the truth, I can't emphasize how the truth is important, okay? If saying the truth gets somebody in trouble, it's okay. Say the truth, because that somebody that got in trouble should have never lied in the beginning, So if the truth exposes, if the truth destructs, if the truth wipes people out, then let the truth do its job, okay? Because nobody can come to me and say, I have truth on you that can destroy you. Nobody. Go look for the last 20 years. You will never find dirt on me, not even a penny. I haven't even stolen a penny. So I can never be threatened. Nobody can come to me and be like, you know what? I know something on you, Sarah, that can jeopardize and nothing. Nobody can touch me. The truth can't even touch me, right? So that's why I don't care. I'll say the truth. And if it gets you in trouble, then you should have never lied, So I'm a truther. First and foremost, I am a truther. I go find every single truth in the rabbit hole and I bring it out and I show it to your face. I don't get affected because I know much worse. Trust me, the dark web, once you see what's happening in the dark web, you will never be the same. Ever, ever. So this is why for me, these Justin Biebers are nothing. If they're doing Justin Bieber in your face, right? This is happening on TV. We've seen this child, 2009, right? I posted a video yesterday. 2009. I came here in 2007. We almost came here at the same time. And end of 2000. I was like 2008. I was here in 2008, full year of 2008. So 1 year after Justin comes. But what's the difference between Justin and me? He was 13. I wasn't. Right? So I didn't get caught up the way he did. I could have many times. Oh yeah. But I didn't. Because I already had a baggage with me that I wanted to clear. I couldn't have more baggage added. I already had so much problems. But Justin, poor him, all fresh, all, wow, let me go to Hollywood. And you understand as Canadians, come on, man, when we see Hollywood and from Canada, it's like Disneyland, Canada's fun, but it's mostly nature. It's not like Hollywood, Hollywood is like a Disneyland for adults. So it's normal, a 13-year-old comes, he has no idea what's waiting for him, So anyways, that's not the point. The point is the truth is always number one for me. So, I just want people to be ready. Okay. So please don't do anything moving forward where if I catch you, I will expose you. I will. Oh, absolutely. And I will expose you to everybody. Maybe first I'll have a talk with you one by one, and after that I expose. So, just don't do anything where you can get exposed. That's all. That's all I'm asking because I'm a truther. First and foremost, I'm a truther. Second, I'm a businesswoman, okay? So it really hurts me that they're going after Venice Beach because Venice Beach to me is my favorite, okay? So I'm going to put a video of the German in Venice. It's about 10 minutes. It's a little long only because it was a long video. I edited all the important places, okay? All the important information. After the 10 minutes of watching this video, we're going to hold a meeting, all of us together. Okay, so let's start.
Not not only the business are slow, I never seen this without a flag. They used to have the California flag up here, and on this side the American flag. So they don't even have flags up. Who doesn't know Venice Beach, California? Even Arnold Schwarzenegger made it back here in Venice. Venice Beach is a subculture where people from all over the world come and express themselves. You can come here with a talent, you perform on the boardwalk, you sell your goods, all different melting pots from all over the world. Did you know that Venice Beach used to be the #1 tourist attraction in Southern California? More people came to Venice Beach than they came to Disneyland. Yeah, this is true, but not anymore. Right now, when you come to the beach, it's pretty slow. Who doesn't know Jim Morrison and the Doors? They came straight out of Venice right here. About 200 to 250,000 people walked here. And look at it now. After I closed, a whole bunch of stores closed as well. This is an Egyptian bazaar. He has 2 stores. One is going to be closed next month. This space right here is for rent, as you can see. And Rafiki, my friend, just closed down this month. Chosen, he was selling t-shirts, hats, and clothing stuff. Closed down, out of business. The one next to him, out of business. This lady just opened up 4 days ago. They're selling strawberries. They were hoping they're gonna have a really good business, but it's not gonna happen. And this used to be Ben and Jerry ice cream place. Can you believe it? Ben and Jerry is closing down, so now there's a different store in there. And I think a German guy is part owner of this business. Yeah, he's right there. He was right there. The German guy took over. Do you have anything to say to my German friends? Is it busy? Is it slow? What would you say?
It's still kind of slow, but it's picking up. You feel the French, Italian, German people coming, having some vacation here, you know?
Well, I just said there's nobody coming because I think this is the slowest I've ever been.
It's really slow, but it was way slower. So it's like today was like way more than last week.
Okay.
So if you need real Italian coffee in Venice Beach, you know where to find me.
That's right, and that's this place right here. Like I said, there was Ben and Jerry before, but where are the customers? That's always the problem, you know. I'm doing a little video about how bad it got here in Venice. That's what I'm doing, you know.
True. It's really like it was the worst since like the last 2 years when you're on the boardwalk right now. It's really slow.
Charlie's Deli just closed down the beginning of the month. This is prime real estate right here on the corner. Out of business. Can you believe it? They were selling hamburgers, drinks, sandwiches, and this place out of business as well. Let's go check it out inside. That was the food court of Venice. This place was always packed. Everything boarded up, closed. This store here was making pizzas like hand over fist, crazy, empty since months. This place had the best sandwiches before, then it turned into a fruit gallery, juice bar, out of business. Patrick used to own this place. Long time ago, he was selling skates. Vendors used to set up here. Now they're just blocking it so they don't have anybody with loud speakers setting up because they don't want that in front of their store here. My friend had to move out because the rent was too high. We're talking about high-end real estate. This building, it's crazy. You gotta see this. This place, one of the busiest pizza places right here, out of business. Everything right here, out of business. They're selling the whole building. And all the apartments upstairs, they're also empty. So if you got some money, this place is for sale. But like I said, the rent for all those things, $8,000, $8,000, $8,000 for rent. Crazy. Beach. But when Snapchat bought the building, Starbucks moved in, and it was right here where they had the bearded lady, the tallest man in the world, the shortest man, the three-headed frogs. That was the freak show right here in the corner. Those houses been empty for 6, 7, 8 years. I don't even remember. Prime real estate, nothing is done with this. And then we got this sunglass store, was broken into twice in the last year. So he kind of put some barriers up front so they're not gonna break in again. This building completely burned down. I actually have footage on my channel. There used to be so many homeless setting up on this side here. No more homeless on this side.
German in Venice.
There we go. This guy is an artist. He tries to make Venice look really colorful. Look at all this building right here.
Look at these colors. Look at these beautiful colors. Look at these beautiful yellows and blues right here.
You're truly an artist. But why do you have so much paint on your clothes, man? You're supposed to put that on your wood.
Because I am living art.
So he puts the artwork out here, and he actually... This building is empty for a while now, right? For a long time. The whole property.
This guy up here lives up here. He's a nice guy.
And he puts those little stickers on there. Why is it empty? I have no idea. But not only this building as well. I'm going to show you right now. Red Line Clothing Store for lease. You can rent those spaces. As you can see, the front is not a parking lot. This is made for vendors. But where are the vendors? None of the people set up their business here. Those are the gingerbread courts. And Charlie Chaplin used to live right here. And there's a picture of the Doors walking right here. All those are spaces for rent. So you have to set up your space in this square. And I tell you, years ago, there was no space available. We had a lottery every Tuesday, and now all those spaces are empty. Nobody sets up here anymore because there's no money to be made. This hotel was featured in White Man Can't Jump, and look at this. It says it's a good hotel. It's a 5-star hotel. Actually, they just painted it, and they had all the homeless live in here. It used to be like a homeless shelter. And then they raised the rent twice as much, and he had to leave. And then those people took over. And look who we got here, Peter Damon. He's a busker right here on Venice Beach for years.
Yes.
Street smart. Come down, support him when you're down here.
All right, thank you, man.
All right, always. There were times people actually offered you money to move out, between $20,000 and $80,000, and now all those places are empty. He closed down his business called Fashion Factory. Closed down for a long time. 3 spaces available. So right on this side where I was standing right here 30 years ago. That was me. It was right here where Arnold started out. Don't quote me on that one. $9,000. Those guys moving from over there because it's $11,000 on that corner from what I heard. And they had a problem with the landlord. And they're moving their business. All those 2 businesses next to each other moving in here to share the rent because it's too expensive. You have to pay $100,000 on the corner to move in, plus the rent. So, and all those used to be stores as well. Since the city came down and said they can't set up here. They're right here on the boardwalk. They owe a lot of money. As long as you pay a little bit, they cannot kick you out. But like I said, everybody is trying to hold on because they have nothing else to go to. So I feel really bad for those people. And I don't think it's going to get better. Hopefully it does, but we'll see. 2 homeless people were fighting over a lighter, and one guy didn't make it. He passed away right here, and they're still looking for the suspect. And that was right here where the graffiti walls are. Sad, sad, sad. Over a lighter. Somebody put a little memorial here, and he's gone forever. I always really loved Venice Beach, always. I still come here all the time, but not with the same feeling I once had. Maybe it's because I was always in my store, hanging out with people, having a good time. And now sometimes I'm at home and I'm thinking, should I really go down to Venice today? Because it lost its flair, I think. It's not what it used to be.
What's up, man?
What's up, man?
How's it going?
Alrighty, how you doing?
What is it? German vlogs?
Yeah, it's a German vlog. How did you know?
I know, man. I used to watch you a lot, man.
You used to, man. Everybody's watching. They say they used to. Are you watching still?
I
All right. I want to see the positive normally, but I also wanted to show you what is going on here in Venice. I've done a video before when it looked pretty bad, but it got even worse. And who knows what the future brings. So we hope for all those people and for everybody that everything is going to be all right. And hopefully I can continue making those YouTube videos. As long as you watch, the GIV is doing videos. That's right. And don't forget to smile sometimes.
Okay, so after watching that video, one thing we can all agree, this is a horrible thing. One thing we can all agree, it is targeting something that touches all of us. I am in the city, inside the city, so I'm seeing something like the Hunger Games. Oh yeah, I am. They're, targeting a lot of businesses, they're targeting a lot of individuals that have been here for a very long time. So individuals that have been here for like 20, 30 years, if we can't do anything, you understand it's over, right? Like the new people aren't going to do anything. Like when they're doubling the rent in Venice Beach, you know why they're doing that, right? Why are they doubling the rent when there's nobody? There's no tourists. Like nobody's going to come to this to see dead dolphins. Nobody wants to see that. There's no more tourists. I saw it for myself. I went to Hollywood. Hollywood's dead. I went to, the beaches. The beach is dead. Downtown is dead. There's nobody nowhere. Even me personally, I don't even hang out anymore. As you can see, I'm shooting a video on a Sunday, which is unheard of. And I made all my presentations yesterday on a Saturday, which is also unheard of. So somebody like me is no longer going out. Somebody like me is no longer using their skills to the maximum potential. And that is pretty much everybody. Everyone's at home locked in because, we don't want to go to the water. We don't want these 5G towers hitting us. We don't want to physically go to work. We all want to work from home. So everyone's trapped inside. All the talents are trapped inside and they're doubling the rent. So doubling the rent when there's nobody, why are they doing that? They're doing that to push people out. Hey, listen, you've been here for 20 years, 30 years. Here's $20,000 like we saw in the video. Leave. I'll buy your property. I'll rent out your location. And the landlords are accepting and, the renters are accepting because, listen, if I'm not doing good financially and there's no tourists, right? Because tourists, they buy art. Like locals aren't going to go buy art. I'm not going to drive from here to Venice Beach to go buy some painting on the street. This is all for tourists. I remember in 2022, like after the lockdown, Venice Beach got so much better. And Venice Beach was doing so great. In 2022, Venice Beach was doing better than I had ever seen in, let's say, the last decade. Because the last decade, there was a lot of homeless. In 2022, I didn't even see homeless. They wiped out, like they cleaned all the homelesses. And like all these little mom and pop shops came and on the streets. Like there were so many vendors on the streets, you couldn't even walk properly anymore. That was 2022. So that's why I was like, oh, thank God, the COVID didn't affect, if anything, things got better because after the lockdown, everyone was dying to go out, So after the 2020 event, like in 2021, 2022, people started going out and then an excessive, to make up for the previous year. So 2022, I remember Venice Beach was doing so good. And I was actually happy that it was at its best. I had never seen it that vibing, That's why I was like, I'm going to go move in Venice Beach so I can walk out and be here instead of driving all the way there. Like I got to drive now, which is not an inconvenience, but why not live there, But anyways, that's not the point. The point is, it's really not the same, right? And we got to do something because that is the one thing we have all in common, no matter what our individual goals are. Even if we're all on Instagram, putting our art out, one thing we have in common, we have to save Venice Beach. We have to, saving Venice Beach will create us a blueprint that other town, like, then San Francisco can take the same blueprint and use it, Every other town can take the same blueprint and use it. Another question is, how do we save Venice Beach? And this is why I wanted to make a video. I figured, we can brainstorm all of us together, right? I can set up the meeting and then have everybody brainstorm. And this is what I want to do because I don't have a solution, but at least I can create slides and a meeting. We can all discuss the leaders together because all the influencers are leaders, okay? We're all leaders. The fact that you are an influencer And it doesn't matter how you got there, okay? Illuminati or not, I don't care. I'm not even talking about that anymore. I already made presentations on those anymore. We're not going to go over those, okay? That's over. Anything I've spoken about so far, I've said it once, I'm not going to say it again, okay? One thing's for sure, whoever that's already an influencer on Instagram, for sure, you're ahead of everybody. You're ahead of me, you're ahead of everybody, right? So of course, you're a leader, right? If you're an influencer, and it doesn't matter whatever frequency, I don't care, and you're actually influencing people, you're a leader. So this is to all my leaders and all over the world. If you're in a city where this hasn't happened yet, at least you can watch these videos and be like, all right, if this comes to my town, I'll know what to do. Okay? So, how do we save Venice Beach? One thing I realized is corporations, right? Let's look at this slide. The way a corporation is made, we have the CEO president on top, okay? Then we have a bunch of departments below it. We have the CTO, CFO, CIO, COO. We have a bunch of C-level executives. I only put 3 here because it's just for sake of example, and I made it colorful. In corporations, you never make it colorful like that. But anyways, I wanted to become artistic. So, right? You have the CEO and then you have the 3 people under. This creates a lot of problems within the company because the person all the way on the bottom, on the bottom of the CTO, let's say if we start to the left, the person on the bottom left of the CTO will be jealous of the person on top. The person on top will be jealous of the CTO. The CTO is jealous of the CEO, and then the CIO is jealous of the CTO because the CIO is overseeing 3 people, but the CTO is only overseeing 2 people. And I can assure you they have the same salary, right? And then the CTO is jealous from the CFO because the CFO isn't overseeing anybody. He has nobody to oversee. It's just him and he's doing also the same salary, right? So, you have fights like that. Then let's say you have the CEO that has a meeting with the CFO, right? A private meeting. And then the CFO talks to the CTO, let's say, right? The CFO goes to the CTO and says, we're giving you a budget of $100,000 only because that's all we can do. Let's say the CTO doesn't want $100,000. He wants $200,000. Well, he's going to be like, forget you, CFO. I'm going straight to the CEO. I am surpassing you. I'm going over your head. And I'm going to go complain to the CEO that I want $200,000. So then the CTO drags the CEO into this problem. My point is this hierarchy doesn't work. Okay? This is the hierarchy that creates a lot of problems. A lot. And the people all the way in the bottom do the most work. And they're always the ones angry. Bottom line, it doesn't work. Okay? It doesn't work. I don't need to spend more time. Everyone understands in 2025 that this old model that everyone's using does not work anymore. Okay? This is the model that I've noticed works everywhere. And it's the model that has worked in the one most efficient company that I have ever worked for. And when I'm talking about efficiency, is incredible, huh? The computer systems never crashed, never went down, never froze. I've never seen efficiency of that level. But that's what it was. This is what they were using. It's the artist, right? Because we're all artists, right? We are all CEOs, presidents deep down, because we're individuals. We're running our own life, right? So if you can run your own life, then you're your own president. So artist, I put the word artist because that's very general. And this is our conference, Whoever that comes on Instagram and puts, let's say, a poem, everybody sees it. I see it, musicians see it, painters see it, everybody sees it. And this is the beauty of Instagram. It's so funny because last year I hated Instagram. I was like, I am forced to be on here. I am forced to transition and start a page, and this was a few years ago, not even last year. But up until last year, I was like, man, I can't believe I got to do this. But now I see that it's like a company, Instagram is like a company. And even better, because let's say I'm the artist, right? And I'm talking about something. Well, then travel, music, poem, painting, everybody gets affected and everybody hears. Painting is not going to be like, hey, how come Sarah's just talking to travel? What are they talking about? I want to know. They see, we don't have that problem. This is why. And there's no hierarchy. Everyone is as important as everybody else. Okay? And this is why this works. This is why this works. This is why wave 1 and wave 2 can now work together, right? Because we don't have the old hierarchy. The old hierarchy only worked for wave 1. Doesn't work for wave 2, right? As you can see, I'm already triggering so many people just by speaking my opinion. So imagine if we're enforcing a hierarchy, that wouldn't work. So wonderful. Wave 2 came up with this. Wave 2 came up with the internet. Wave 2 came up with this structure, right? So this is why everyone is needed. Every input is needed. No matter how ridiculous it sounds. Like if you have a great idea, just say it. Say it. If it's not good, then whatever. But at least you've planted the seed. You know, like I was thinking yesterday, I'm like, if I make a video like this, would they understand? But you know what? I'm going to make it. I'm going to treat every single one of you guys as a president, because that's what you are, president, CEO. Trust me, you're more of a president than the person like, selling something on the corner of the street and trying to also, do a business, Same thing. One's doing online, the other one's doing it in person. So again, this is the model we're going to use. This is Instagram, right? So wonderful. So we have our company, right? We have our company, we have all of our departments, and we have everybody in the department. So if you look at it like that, it works. So Instagrams is our corporation. And making videos like this is wonderful because, the people that go talk in the back, nobody knows what they're talking about. And if the idea doesn't come true, then it's over. The idea fizzled out, right? But let's say I plant a seed today. Maybe the idea fizzles out like now, maybe after watching this video, people are like, well, we don't know what to do, and that's fine. But at least the seed is now in your head and it's recorded. So let's say 2 years later, we can come back and be like, oh yeah, this video said something that, maybe now I can apply. So, this is why I'm doing this. So first slide. What did we learn? And again, everything that I'm posting on my stories is very important. Now, I don't put things there for the sake of showing off, okay? I want people to know if I'm putting something there, it's because it's important. And if I'm putting something to make you laugh, then I want you to laugh, So my stories are really important. So in my stories, what do we find out? Okay? We find out that Amazon Fresh is taking over. Whole Foods is taking over. Amazon Delivery is taking over. Me personally, I don't have much of a problem because where I live, it's filled with Mexican grocery stores. Filled, okay? And you can't prevent people from growing fruits and, vegetables and selling it. And everybody here has plants and vegetables, So me personally, I don't have that problem. But I noticed if you go to Venice Beach, it's over. They've closed all the good restaurants and now they're pushing fast food. Like, trust me, I bought like a disgusting vegan thing. I bought vegan and it was disgusting. The day that Venice Beach sells disgusting vegan food, it's over. We had the best vegan food there, But anyways, now I got to get out of the strip and go inside of Venice Beach on, Abbot Kinney to go eat better food. But Abbot Kinney has 5-star restaurants. You can't just grab and go anymore. So, pushing fast food, right? In Venice Beach, there's no mom and pop shops. Everything is super expensive. So you have no choice but to go to Amazon Fresh, Whole Foods, You have like Sprouts and a few small groceries, but the few small organic local groceries are really expensive. Like regular people, homeless people can't go and buy stuff there, Like homeless people can't go to Whole Foods after they beg on the street, They have to go and get like a pizza slice for $1, It's really bad. So as you can see, they're honestly targeting the artists, right? If Venice Beach is gone, like what's gonna hold us all together? Not downtown, because everybody hates downtown. Not Century City. I hate Century City. The Century City is a city they created out of nowhere. It's all full of like 5-star buildings. It's mostly lawyers in there. They created the Century City Mall, which is a beautiful outdoor mall, but it's so corporate. Like I've hung out there. It is so corporate. Sitting in that mall, you feel like you're on your lunch break from work. You left work and now you have to kill an hour. So let's go to Century City and eat something. That's the feeling Century City gives you. So there's no place to really hang out. There's the Grove. I like the Grove because if you don't want to pay the $20, $25 parking at the Grove, you can go park on the streets for free and walk to the Grove. And it's beautiful, the Grove. It's outside. There's a train. It's beautiful. There's 5-star restaurants at $50 a plate if you want, or there's a cheesecake factory for, people on budget. I personally love the Grove, but it's the only thing we have, other than the beaches. And it's funny because in Montreal, there's only 3 months of good weather. In Montreal, there's only 3 months of good weather. But like every building has like a rooftop, every restaurant has a patio, terrace. It's incredible. Like there's so many things to do outside in Montreal, so many things. And when winter comes, so many things to do in the tunnels. But in California, like there's only like a few rooftops and they're all like only hotels. You have to like pretend you're in the hotel to go to their rooftop and enjoy it. You kind of feel like you're an imposter. I'm not staying in this hotel, but let me go use your rooftop. And they do it. They let people from the public come in. But it's like, why does it have to be in a hotel? And restaurants, it's very rare. Like only after COVID, they put all the terraces outside. Before COVID, there was absolutely no terrace outside. Everything was inside. Because there's no smoking section, so they had no reason to put anything outside. Then when COVID happened, people didn't want to eat inside because of all the bacteria. So then they started putting regulations on terraces outside. So this terrace situation only happened in 2020. It doesn't make sense how like there's nowhere to go. If Venice Beach closes, Santa Monica closes, let's say if nobody wants to go to the water and there's no really businesses, because you're not going to go to Santa Monica to go eat oysters, right? This is what people used to do. They used to go to Santa Monica for seafood. So now nobody wants the seafood, right? Nobody wants the seafood or the seafood, right? So what are you going to do? These cities are going to go down. If Venice Beach and Santa Monica and Malibu goes down, because now nobody is going to Malibu, right? You have to drive through the Palisades to go to Malibu. So if the Palisades are burnt, then nobody really wants to go all the way to Malibu. That's like an hour and a half drive from downtown if, let's say, there's a little bit of traffic. Nobody wants to drive that much. I'd rather just drive 35 minutes and hit Venice Beach. So I created presentations, right? So Amazon Fresh, Whole Foods, Amazon Delivery. And again, I see Amazon Delivery everywhere here. And I have nothing against Amazon Delivery, okay? Amazon Delivery is wonderful for the things that you cannot find, right? Let's say I'm looking for a specific, and this has happened to me. I'm looking for a specific screw of this size and this diameter and this and that, right? If I go to Home Depot and I find it, first, if I'm lucky, you got to first go to Home Depot, grab someone that works there because there's no way I can find this myself. Then you go to the screw section, you go to all the screws, and if you're lucky, you find that size, and if you're not, you don't. So to me, Amazon has helped a lot in that. Like if I need a screw of a specific size, it's so easy to find it on Amazon, and it's like $2, right? Home Depot, it's $10, like. So to me, Amazon are good for things like that. If I need to find something that I cannot find anywhere else, then I go to Amazon. But now I notice people, they grocery shop from Amazon. They grocery shop from Whole Foods, which is owned by Amazon. They shop for everything like socks. Instead of going to stores, now they buy it from Amazon, I bought like my nose ring from Amazon. And I bought it from Amazon because it's so cheap and it's real gold and, it's crazy. It's very difficult to prevent Amazon from growing, As Amazon grows, all the small mom and pop shops, they're going to close as they're already closing. And every good restaurant has doubled their price, right? So if I want to go to a Thai restaurant and eat pad Thai, everyone knows pad Thai is just noodles with a little bean sprouts and you need to buy something else with the pad Thai. You can't just eat the pad Thai, right? You want vegetables or meat or whatever. You want something with your noodles. One pad Thai here is $20 now. It used to be like $6. So it did more than double. It almost tripled. It makes no sense for a pad Thai to triple. So as you can see, noodles have tripled. Like everything is going up. And people are not getting jobs. Companies are closing. People like me are at home on a weekend, hanging out. So while the wonderful event of 2020 happened, they put up 5G towers. And I saw it. Everything was closed. And all the 5G towers went up. Chemtrails, right? I posted those in my stories as well. The water is filthy. Like now I'm scared of drinking because I have filter water at home. Filter in my tap water. But now that, I know all this water is disgusting, even if it filters it, like, does it really filter it, So I'm pretty sure everyone's drinking nasty water here. The real estate purchase by corporations, we saw it in the video, Snapchat, going and buying all these buildings, all these big corporations buying all these buildings and pretty much kicking the locals out. The rent doubling in Venice Beach, we saw that in the video. The crime increasing, people fighting over a lighter, that's ridiculous. Stores closing, population decreasing, everyone's leaving LA. Tourism is not existent. Hollywood and TV is decreasing. Social media is increasing. Okay? That's okay because we can use that to our benefit. That we can use to our benefit, which is horrible, Everyone's staying home and, not doing quality stuff. However, being online all the time. But that's okay because, like I said, we can take over, the social media world. So that is a plus in my eyes. And then we have the soccer, which is coming up, the soccer games, and the Olympic forecast, July 14 to 20, 2028. Now, I looked at the Olympic forecast that's going to happen in 2028, same time as the smart city. And after my research, I realized they're not building anything. Like in Montreal, when the Olympics came, we built so many things. We built the Expo 69. We built the big dome. We built so many things. So if the Olympics are coming to LA and they're not building anything, and I saw they're like, we're going to set up in the UCLA campus. Hey, listen, I hang out in the UCLA campus. You can't set up there. What are you going to set up there? It's so small. And it's a school, I don't know. Olympics are coming to LA and we're not building anything whatsoever. Really, Karen Bass? Is that what's happening? Because listen, nobody wants to come here for tourism, right? So let's say people do come here in the Olympics, right? What are they going to come and see? The dead dolphins? Like imagine in 2028, right? Like I'm pretty sure things will be even worse. So what are they coming here for? Madame Karen Bass, can we know if you're not building anything? I don't understand. Like when we had the Olympics in Brazil, I had a Brazilian friend and her mom was part of it. She was organizing so many things. When the Olympics come to town, you have to build so many things. You have to spend billions and billions of dollars and building things, So if LA's not building anything, in my opinion, you know why? Because they're taking the money to build the smart city, right? They're going to be like, well, the Olympics are going to come and see the smart city, right? So we're not going to build for the Olympics. We're going to build so when the Olympics come, they have something to see. You see, I think that's what they're going to do. So you see, as long as we know what they're going to do, me exposing what they're going to do is ruining their plan, ruining it. Because me telling you this is what they're going to do, now everyone's going to focus to make sure that they don't do it. And listen, if they're going to do something in 2028 and I catch it in 2025, they stand no chance. We can so prevent them. It's ridiculous. This is why I'm telling you, they stand no chance. In a corporation, if everybody wants to go against the president, you understand, the president's screwed. They stand no chance. So what are we going against? We're going against Gavin and Karen Bass. Who cares? They're two twits. Two twits. So I'm not even worried. I'm not even worried. So this is why I'm making this video, because I'm pretty sure we can actually do something about it way more than they can. Way more. Next slide. We're currently in May 2025. We have till July 2028. That gives us 3 years and 3 months. Because once the Olympic comes and the smart cities open, it'll be too late if we're not prepared, right? So right now we have 3 years and 3 months to prepare, which gives us a lot of time. A lot of time. In my opinion, we should just do it the quickest, because the fastest we do this, the faster we can save the people that are already struggling here. If we cannot save the people already struggling here, they're going to leave. And if the locals leave, you understand, right? If let's say all the locals leave and just the billionaires come, like it's over. They're going to take over, California. There's no saving it at that point, So while the locals are still on the ground and while we're still here and we can do a lot, this is the time to act. So we have 3 years and 3 months to put out high vibe content, right? Nothing but high vibe. I'm still going to expose the truth. like so many people are just so struggling and don't have help, like me. I have a family, I have so much experience, and I am where I am. Imagine people that don't have the experience and don't have the family, and like, it's really hard. It's really hard. So we got to be their support system. Two, focus on creativity, right? If the people are targeting artists, that's because artists are dangerous. And if artists are dangerous, then go full on mode. Full on mode. Create, create, create as much as possible. Because I realize, it's time now. If we're ever going to create as artists, now is the time. What better time now, right? And even me, I'm not going out anymore. I don't even want to go out anymore. Like, you saw Venice Beach. If Venice Beach looks like that, imagine the rest of the town. I still have fun, but I don't go out like I used to. And this is for everybody, So honestly, everyone's getting affected. And now everyone has the time. Everyone has the time and the focus to actually build, right? Build and find solutions every day. Every day. And you're going to see the vortex in the beginning, it's hard to launch, right? It's like those grass things that you cut, the mower, the lawnmower, right? You got to stretch it first. It doesn't start. You got to stretch it again. It doesn't start. And the third one, it starts, and then you can, mow the lawn. These were back in the days when it wasn't electric. So the vortex, it's the same thing. First push, it's going to be hard. It might not even do a full circle. Second push, it might just do barely a full circle, right? Third push, the circle, as soon as it does one circle, the momentum of that one circle will push the vortex to start spinning. And this is why it's always just difficult in the beginning. Once the project picks up, it's over. There's no stopping it. There's no stopping it. And this is why I'm let's start the vortex together. And it doesn't matter if you're, let's say, in Africa or Germany or whatever. Hey, listen, if you're on, Instagram, you're a artist, So we all have to stick together so we can start the vortex. Launch it. Then grow your own food, right? Even if the 5G towers, like, I think the 5G towers, that's why my cucumbers came out messed up, But other than that, my fruits and vegetables are okay. So the 5G towers are going to destruct the animals, the plants, and your physical being, right? You see, I don't look as good as I did, as when I came from that Sedona trip, And it's not the nature. I've gone to nature many times. It was really the Sprinter. I really, really want the Sprinter, So you can see, like, the 5G, but the 5G doesn't get to me. I've been in the downtown area all my life. And I remember I had a friend from nature, my friend that stayed with me. After the third week, she was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, how can you live here? The 5G is getting to me. And I don't even feel it. I don't feel it. They can blast it on me and I don't feel it. Right? So this creeps up. I just see it physically. And also I haven't been that hungry lately. Now, I don't know if it's because I'm ascending or if, they're blasting the 5G even more towards me. I wouldn't be surprised to, like, aim all the satellites at Sarah and blast off. That's okay. Blast it. It's like, it'll give me vitamin D. We're good. We're good. Grow your own food as much as possible. Trust me, you don't want to shop at Whole Foods anymore in these places. Everything has a cancer warning label, Online presence as much as possible, right? This is to increase confidence. Me in the beginning, I was like, oh, I need the perfect intro. I need the perfect intro music. I had one of my friends create that song, She sent me her demo and, we went over it. Like, it was a whole process. Then it was like, do the hair. You understand? If I take a shower and I do my hair, that takes like 2 hours. It takes me like an hour to wash it and condition it and brush it and this and that. Then it takes me 30 minutes to dry it, then 30 minutes to style it. You understand, by the time I'm done doing my hair, I'm exhausted. And I can't really shoot a video, So I noticed, like, these things don't matter anymore. And it's so funny because when you first get into Instagram, you don't know this. You don't know this. You're like, wow, everyone's so perfect. Let me be perfect, But now that I don't care anymore, it's wonderful. Let's use Instagram as a conference call. It's not about the looks anymore. It's about the message, and to look at it like that helps a lot. So online presence, online presence helps a lot because it's not even about the content anymore. It's like I know that if I'm not alone, I know if I need something, someone's there. Even if I'm not using their services, I know that if I need something, someone's there. Just knowing that gives me confidence, right? Then, knowing that other people are going through the same thing as I am also builds confidence. 3, seeing examples of people being all goofy on Instagram builds confidence because now we can come and be goofy as well, right? If we use Instagram with a purpose like that, it builds confidence. So people will now have a reason to be on social media 80% of their time. Because right now people are just scrolling aimlessly, right? 80% of the time. They're wasting their time, they're getting distracted. But let's say we start doing conferences like this. Now they're gonna want to be like, okay, what are they talking about today? What are they fixing in the city today? You know? This Instagram situation, we can use it such to our advantage. It's incredible. Like I see it in my head. It can be an entire society in here. If people were not individualistic, because I came and I talked about the gene key, like I did what I thought I was supposed to do. Everyone's doing their own thing, which is great. But now we can do our own thing, and as we're doing our own thing, we can be a community, all of us together. Like instead of each having our own community, because that's how we're making money, right? We use that as well, but we use Instagram as a community. So that's also, for free. Come and listen to us chat and have these live sessions of what can we do. Hey, what's happening in Topanga today? Bella. What's happening here today? Blue, whatever. I don't know where they live, but I think they live around there. So, we have eyes everywhere. This is incredible. You see, this can go far. Trust me. It can go so far. So eat organic, right? Try to eat as much as possible organic. And the reason why I'm saying that, it's because all these like really, really nice restaurants are shutting down and all these like crappy fast food places are coming up. Like Venice Beach is nothing but like hot dogs and disgusting food. Even vegan. I got like a vegan French fries, chili cheese French fries. It was the most disgusting thing I ever eaten. I couldn't believe it. I was buying this in Venice Beach. I couldn't believe it. But again, they're closing all the restaurants and putting fast food up, right? So eat organic as much as possible. Get rid of the processed. Like right now, bread is like sponge. I think they put yoga mat material in the bread because it's like sponge. Even after I toast it, it's spongy. Listen, a bread after you toast it, it should be hard. Like a cracker. These breads never get hard. They get spongy. And then if you leave it outside for like 3 days, then it becomes like a cracker and it becomes like cement. The claim that Subway was caught with yoga mat material in its bread refers to the controversy surrounding the use of azodicarbonamide, a chemical used in some yoga mats and bread dough conditioning, in Subway bread. Subway faced public pressure and ultimately announced its plan to remove azodicarbonamide from its bread. We don't even know what they're putting in the breads, you know? So anything processed, try to get rid of it because the quality is going down. Then they are pushing the fast food, killing animals, right? They're dumping animals. So they're going into these, and I saw it on Instagram. They're going onto these farms and they're like, your ostriches are infected. We have to kill all of them. And then they seize the property and they have, 24 hours to get rid of the animals. And they dump the body. I've seen it. They did that in Italy when there was the virus for the pigs. They went to all the pig shelters and dumped the bodies, and they were showing it in the videos. Literally dumped like these amazing pigs that were saved like 20 years ago, 10 years ago. I don't know how long pigs live, but they were very, very mature adult pigs that were saved a long time ago. They were probably not qualified for prosciutto, and and they each had a personality. They're like, this is this person's name, because pigs have personalities, animals have personalities. And when they came and dumped their entire body, they held like a funeral. And they talked about each pig and how much each pig like changed their lives. Like, you understand psychologically I don't care. I don't eat pigs, I don't eat meat. But to go after our animals like that, you understand, it's psychologically damaging, especially to the ones that are begging to save whatever that's left. So you're saving whatever that's left. Now they're coming into your shelter and doing this. You understand? Mafia. These people are mafia. But these people don't know that I'm the head of mafia. They don't understand that I am the Lord of the most disgusting mafia in the world. So that's okay. If they're mafia, I'm going to show them what a real mafia looks like. So not only that they're killing animals for absolutely no reason, shutting down farms for absolutely no reason, they're doing that. I'm going to keep putting the videos in my stories. A few of them I didn't because they were very visual, but now I'm going to because they're shutting up farms. Like, whatever that's left, they're shutting it up, right? Why? Because Bill Gates owns the big farms. So they want to shut everything that's small, keep everything that's big, keep poisoning the food, keep forcing, vaccines, jabs on us, right? They're targeting us from every single angle, the air, the water, the sun, right? But we're catching it. Like I said, it's like a 5-year-old running after you with a knife. It's, at first it might be like, oh my God, the kid got a knife, let's do something about it. But you understand, once you grab the knife, it's over, right? It's a joke. It's like, really? You really thought you can do this, small child, So it's the same thing. Gavin's walking around thinking he's a hotshot. He's not. He's like a 5-year-old boy. Wait till we pin Gavin down. You'll see he's going to start crying. He's going to fall on his, he's going to fall and he's going to start crying. Like my other video. Oh yeah, for sure. Gavin's one of them. Gavin goes in the middle of nowhere. He's the first one to cry. So killing animals and the price of dairy has increased and we can't find eggs anymore. I don't need eggs, so I don't care. But like my family cannot find eggs. Whenever they go to Costco or whatever, they have to wait in line. Like you go to Costco, there's no eggs, right? So let's say today I go to Costco, well, today there's eggs. So now I gotta wait in line. If I don't wait in line, there's no eggs anymore, I don't know what's happening. How come now suddenly there's no eggs? Is it because of the import, and if not, like we don't have local eggs, like, and that's the thing. It's not enough for everybody. Listen, until I moved here, I couldn't believe how many people there is here. Man, you can like fill up your inventory in the morning. I'm telling you, by like 12, everything's gone. There's so many people. There's so many people. Like imagine you put pallets, like that's Costco, right? You put pallets and pallets. Costco puts things in pallets. Like they go to the warehouse in the back and then they bring it and they put it on the pallet. That's how much time they don't have, They don't even have time to like unput the stuff from the pallet onto the sections, That's how like incredible it is. There's lineups and lines of people. That means if you create a sandwich, you're constantly creating a sandwich nonstop, nonstop, nonstop. There's lineups. You have like 200 people, let's say, right? This is America. There's too many people here. and I'm not saying it as a bad thing. I'm saying it as mass production has ruined everything because there's no more balance anymore. Hey, listen, when I'm creating a sandwich and I got 200 people waiting in line, I'm half-assing it. I'm half-assing it. And if I'm half-assing it serving, imagine the people in the back killing and giving me the ingredients. They're also in a rush. So everyone's half-assing everything, right? Everything's mass produced and like nobody has time to like give out like service anymore, right? Now it's just a question, oh my God, just put out the food. Now they're putting out these sandwiches for $20. So now I'm eating like a crappy meal for $20, right? So as you can see, people cannot keep up. We're running out of eggs. We can't keep up, And it's not a question of overpopulation. Nothing is scarce. It's not that there were too many people. I don't agree with Bill Gates. Trust me, if you can manage these people, you wouldn't have lineups. If you were efficient, people wouldn't even have to go to restaurants. They would go to restaurants because they want to. In Montreal, we used to go to restaurants because we're tired of cooking. I've been cooking for 2 weeks. Let's go to a restaurant. But here every day, people don't know how to cook. Like most people, they don't know how to cook. So they're always going out to restaurants. If the restaurants close, they're freaking out. Like they don't know how to, most people don't know how to cook. I know so many people here that have no idea how to cook and they go buy. And again, it's not a problem. But now you're dependent to the grocery store. So if the grocery store closes, what are you going to do, So we need to fix the structure. I can easily serve 1 billion people, 8 billion people, if the structure is correct, So it's not about the people, right? Why do they want to get rid of the people? We saw the video. It's the organs. When people need humans, getting their organs are, it's pretty much the equivalent, So that's why they're depopulating. They're not depopulating so they can take over the world. They're depopulating because they're using the depopulation method for their own, And once you're depopulated, whoever is left is weak and easy to control, right? So it's not that it's doomed. We're not doomed. We're doomed if we're waiting for these people. Yeah, because as we're going, the Hunger Games is going to happen. But we're not doomed. We can slam a brake and be like, you know what? This is not really efficient. Let me just take over the infrastructure. And I was thinking about it yesterday. Like, all we have to do is take over the infrastructure. If we take over the infrastructure from the inside, it's over. Let's say if I take over the mail system and the groceries, I tell people don't buy, Amazon, I'll deliver anything you want, Forget Amazon, as long as you buy from me, I'll deliver free. There's ways of doing this. And then you take over. You take over just the infrastructure. Forget schools, school is a waste of time anyway, so it doesn't matter, But the food system, we can take over. Transportation, we can take over. So many people come and rent these driverless cars even after we tell them not to, So we can have like our own system. Like, I'm not saying to do this, but my brain went far yesterday. So there's a lot of things we can do without having to wait for people. Because it's just a question of infrastructure. Hey, listen, if someone says don't buy at Whole Foods, buy here instead, I don't care. I'll just go to the other place. But I need the other place to be visible. Like, I need someone to be like, don't go here, go there. That's all I need to know. And then I'll go there. If they have good things, I don't care. So that's the problem with the infrastructure. People are just so used to their ways. But if someone gives another solution, it's so much easier to go to the other solution, right? But the other solution has to be there for the people to do the switch. Super simple. Go out. Okay. And if the price of dairy has increased and the eggs, is a problem, you can also change your diet. You can turn into vegan if, let's say, that's what you want. Or you can go get your own chicken and create your own eggs. That's what a lot of people are doing here. They have their own chickens. And this is why I don't judge them. It's funny. I hear the chickens for like 3 months, and then I don't hear the chickens anymore. And that's, I know. They were done with the eggs and now they ate the chicken, And then they go buy another chicken and they do the same thing. They make the eggs and then whenever the chicken gets old, they eat it, which is fine, That's better than what's happening in the slaughterhouses. So if everybody can own their own chickens, you don't need that much space. You just need like a cage outside where they can be in the sun and run around. That's all, And the cage, because animals would go eat it. That's the only reason. But here they don't even have cages. It's like they're roaming free. It's such a free for all. And this is why I love it. Trust me, the impact isn't going to hit me. The impact, because this is like Mexico where I live, The impact is going to hit like Venice Beach, Santa Monica, the like 5-star places, because these 5-star places don't have street vendors. If I want an apple, I can just go to a street and buy it. If I want fruits, vegetables, I can just go on the street and buy it. This is why I love where I live. I don't care what people say. It's not the richest area, but trust me, I got everything. I can buy anything cheap here. And I'm right next to the industrial section of downtown, so I can even go buy a wholesale and have it even more cheap, So for me, these were always the places to live, because trust me when I tell you, when you go to a new country, go where the immigrants live, because they know what to do. They know how to survive the immigrants within a country that's not theirs, So when you do that, it's easier than going to Beverly Hills where no one knows what to do, So anyways, I'm not here to compare. I'm just here to let you know that some areas are not going to get affected as much as other areas. So go out in nature and avoid LA beaches water, okay? Avoid the water as much as possible. Try to go to Orange County or try to go towards Santa Barbara. Just avoid the LA beach waters. If dolphins and whales are showing up dead, you don't want to put your feet in there. I personally put my feet in there. I had ash all over my legs to the point where I had to find some like clear spot in the water, because if you go back, you get more ash, I had to find clear spots in the water to rinse. And after doing that, I still wasn't happy. And then I found the shower and I rinsed my foot. And then I told myself, I'm never coming back here in the water again. So don't go in the water, okay? When things die in the water, don't go in the water. I see people swimming, and in my opinion, they are out of their mind. Out of their mind. Maybe they paid a lot to come and visit, and once they saw the water's dirty, they're like, whatever, we came all this way, we're going to enjoy the beaches. Maybe that's the mentality. I don't know. But to me, that's a sunk cost. A sunk cost means once you see something's over, it's over. There's no reason to go in it. Like if you go into a movie, right? You go watch a movie, you go to the cinema and you pay, let's say $20 for a 2-hour movie. You go sit down and the first 30 minutes, you hate it. You hate it, right? You hate the movie. You're like, wow, this is such a waste of time. And that has happened to me before. So what do? Do you tell yourself, well, let me sit through the whole movie? Maybe the whole movie, eventually it's going to get better. I already paid the $20, right? A lot of people don't do that. They're like, I already paid the $20. Let me just sit till the end of the movie. So now you lost the $20 and you lost 2 hours. And you're coming out of the movie upset because now you've been affected for 2 hours, So, right? To me, you don't do that. In my opinion, you buy your ticket, you go, you sit down. 5-10 minutes, you see the movie's crap, get out. Get out. That's what it's called. It's called a sunk cost. It's sunked, right? You paid the $20, it's gone. So now I'm going to sit 2 hours through this. No, forget that. Save your 2 hours because you can save that at least. You don't lose the 2 hours too and then get upset and now you lost your whole day, right? No. Sunk costs. You lost the $20, don't lose more. Get out. That's super, super important in business. You pull the plug as soon as you see something's not. But if there's solutions, that's something else. But if you see the movie's just getting worse and worse, you get out. That's not going to get any better. And I remember I went to the third Avatar. And man, after like the second hour, I couldn't do it anymore. This is why I don't go to movies anymore. It was a 3-hour movie. And after the second hour, I was like done. I'm like, I can't sit here for 3 hours. No matter how good the movie is, I don't care. I'm not sitting here for 3 hours on one, couch. Every time I have to go to the bathroom, I got to like wait in line. It was horrible. And thank you, it was a great experience. I loved the Avatar 3, but I can't believe it. Who the hell sits there for 3 hours like that? So anyways, me after the second hour, now I was like, I got to start walking around. I don't really care what happens. I'm out. And pretty much that was my last movie I ever saw. And I never went back to the theater. Because to me now, going to the theater is a sunk cost. I can just watch it in, my house, press pause, go to the bathroom, come back. And I have nothing. To me, there's nothing wrong with that. So even for movies, I don't go to the cinema anymore. Waste of time now, So same thing. Once you see something's not working for you, just drop it. Now, this is a funny slide. It's funny because I put God on top because I was thinking hierarchy, right? So who's responsible for what? Let's say we all wait around for the big bosses to do something. Because that's what I was thinking yesterday. I'm like, eventually things are going to get better. It has to. Listen, if the 2028 Olympics are coming, things have to get better. But are we really going to wait 3 years? Like, am I really going to do videos and wait 3 years until like Donald Trump or Gavin or somebody does something? So let's hypothetically think that we're going to do something about it, right? So hierarchy-wise, we got to see who's responsible for what in order to break down the responsibilities. So on top, we have God. God takes care of the universe. And when I say God, I mean archangels, your guardian angels, like anything that we cannot visually see, such as God and the angels, are looking out after the planet. Then you have under Trump. It's funny to put Trump under God, but this is not a question of priority. It's like the hierarchy, right? I showed you. There's just one person on top and everybody else is equal. And the person on top is just on top because they're speaking. That's the only reason. So you have God taking care of the whole planet. Then you have Trump taking care of America, right? Trump is not sending troops to the Middle East. And I'm so happy because this is the first war in the Middle East that we're not involved. It is. It's the first war where the president hasn't sent anybody. And thank you, because we're in no condition to go and save anybody from the Middle East. We're not. We're in no condition to save ourselves. And the people that left the Middle East to save themselves a long time ago should not be sent back. Okay? I'm sorry to say, but we should not be sent back. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go fight there. I've fought in my entire life. So he's right. It's not our job to go and fight the Middle East. I'm sorry for what's happening, but whoever lives in the Middle East is kind of used to it. Like I said, 44 years ago, my parents made me in the middle of a war. Like this has been in our ancestry and our genetics since the Mongols, the Turks, I can't even find a moment where we haven't been slaughtered by somebody. In Turkey, we have this man called Ataturk. Ataturk is a picture of a man who is everywhere. He is like the Turkish god. He's like the man that everybody prays to and look up to, and and when you go to Turkey, why do you see Ataturk's picture everywhere? And I'm telling you, if you've been to Turkey, you've seen it. It's this white man with blue eyes. He looks European, but he's 100% Turkish, 100%. And he saved Turkey because after Constantinople went down, like after the Ottoman Empire broke down, France took a section, England took a section. All these countries took a section, and then they left a little bit to Turkey. And they're like, yeah, you can have this, the crumbs. So Ataturk was our Marcus Aurelius. He was in the army. He was like the head of the army. And this guy, he was very nationalist, and he's like, nobody's taking my country. He pretty much, it's like, nobody, we're not, this is not happening to us. We're not going to lose our country to the French, we're not going to lose our country to the English. So he went all out. He went all out. And he must have done some crazy barbaric stuff. Crazy. I'm not saying, I'm for him for what he did, but we are for him saving Turkey. If it wasn't for Ataturk, there would be no Turkey. Absolutely not. I would not exist. I would not exist. And we left Iran a long time ago. So every time we go on vacation, we go to Turkey. So we would not exist. We wouldn't have no nationality, it would be finished. So thanks to Ataturk, the Turks have a place to call home, So I understand, are a lot of barbaric things, but we need somebody like that to defend the people. If you don't defend the people will disappear. So we're not sending troops. We have border control. We have tariffs now. We have deportation. Hey, listen, by the way, I know so many illegal people. He's not deporting these people. He's deporting the criminals. Okay? So I don't want, people, the Democrats going online and crying. Oh, they're deporting the Mexicans. Hey, trust me, I live here. Nobody gotten deported. Nobody's gotten deported. He's deporting the criminals. Okay? He just can't say that. He can't say, I'm deporting only the criminals. Because you can't say that. That's horrible. That's discrimination, I stole a lighter. Am I a criminal? You can't say that. So he has to say, I'm deporting everybody illegally. I'm giving you a chance to leave the country before, But he's doing that because he's not going to go and deport like the person's, selling hot dogs on the street. That's not what he's doing. That's a waste of his time. That's not what they're doing. They're deporting criminals, okay? But anyways, I'm not here to defend Trump. I'm just letting you know, so far he's the best president we've had. So if we're going to ever get out of this, now is our chance. Now is our chance. Because if, let's say, Joe comes back, it's finished. It's finished. And the only reason we all voted for Trump is because we all hated Joe. It's the only reason. So it's like we're counting on this one to do something, So anyways, after Trump, who do we have? Gavin, the governor. But we all know Gavin's playing golf. Gavin is playing golf all day, every day. He's not doing anything. He's going around playing golf and, having business meetings with these mafia people so they can go and close farms. That's what he's doing, is burning down cities, He's burning people alive. Hey, listen, man, when you're burning a city in the middle of the night, while everyone's sleeping, why do you think? Yeah, they're trying to burn them alive, You don't have time to gather all your animals. You don't even know where they are. I'm telling you. Nobody burns a town in the middle of the night unless they want to burn the people in it, while they're alive. Anyways, I'm not going to go there. So that's Gavin. That's our wonderful governor. Ridiculous. So, under Gavin, we have Karen Bass. But I'm not going to talk about Karen Bass. What a waste of time. Me here talking about Karen Bass? Oh my God. I got way better things to do. Way better things to do than that. So I'm not even going to talk about Karen Bass. Karen Bass has been the worst thing that ever happened to LA, other than Gavin, which is the worst thing that ever happened to California. Listen, California is under the Democrats. And I'm not saying Democrat is a bad thing, like Canada is Democrat, But they have infiltrated the Democrats just like they have infiltrated Hollywood. They have infiltrated the Illuminatis. They have infiltrated everything, So Karen Bass is the devil acting as the mayor. So we're not going to talk about her. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend Rick Russo is the mayor because he should have been mayor. Rick Russo reminds me a lot of Mr. Ed Webbush. I worked for Ed Webbush for 4 years. That man was incredible. I have so much respect for Ed Webbush, although he wasn't like the most perfect gentleman. He was very old school. He was a old school gentleman that came into suit with a suit and tie. Like he wasn't performing. He wasn't, pretending to be a classy man. No, no, no. Ed Webbush was a classy man. 83 years old. He opened the company when he was 21. Like, Webbush Securities ran for like 62 years nonstop. Nonstop. I never saw this guy take a vacation. I never saw Ed Webbush take a day off, not even a day off. Even when he had cancer, he was working from home. Incredible. They don't make men like that anymore, And this is why we need role models. When I worked with Ed Webbush, that's why that was the longest company I've ever lasted because of him. If it wasn't him, I would have been long gone, When he died, then I was like, I'm done here. I have no purpose to be here whatsoever, That's how much of an incredible person he was. And 6'6", like 83 years old. He looked amazing. This guy was so good looking. German background, so good looking. But anyways, that's not the point. He took the, Los Angeles city to heart. He created so many jobs, He was helping in so many foundations and donations, and we were throwing events and clubs every year. I know because I was volunteering in those. I was like, I got this one. So every time we would rent out this like 5-star club on top of a rooftop, like it was incredible. It was like 2 floors, and we would have like a 5-star restaurant in there, and sponsorship. We would give gift baskets. It was such a great time, and we had that once every year. And it was for all of our members and our sellers and our vendors. And anyways, a lot of great time, But this one man has impacted downtown LA so much. So much. This is one man. So Rick Russo, in my opinion, he's exactly the same. Classy from, old fashioned, but like, very, very, filled with morals and ethics. Takes LA to heart. He's the one that created the Grove. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have anywhere to go. Like I said, now that we only have beaches and the beaches are closed, nobody wants to go to the water. At least we have the Grove, If it wasn't for him, we didn't even have the Grove. So it's like, it's crazy how you come here and the only place you can go is Disneyland, Hollywood, or the beach. There's just like outdoor shopping malls. There's not much to do outside. There's a lot, like we have go-karting, we have like helicopter stuff. There's a lot to do, but they're all expensive. If you just want to hang out for free and do something fun, there's not much places to go other than the beach. In Montreal, you can do so many things for free. You can hike up a mountain. You can do so many things. Here, it used to be the Runyon Canyon, but I don't know. Runyon Canyon is more for exercise. It's not really for visual. The visual is nice in the beginning, but once you're on top, everything's a desert. So, and the only views you see is from the town. So I don't know. There's not much to do free. And let's say you want to go to the Griffith. The Griffith Observatory is free. That you can do. So I take it back. There's that one thing you can do. You can hike to the Hollywood sign, But like I said, these hikings are not nice. Like once you're at the Hollywood sign, it's nice. But getting to the Hollywood sign, it's all desert. And there's no shade. You're all in the middle of the desert. So you're like hiking for 3 hours in no shade in the desert. You're like dying, And once you see the Hollywood sign, you're like, yay, finally. And now I got to hike back. Like there's not much attraction. As much as we should for a place that's always sunny. For a place where it's always, summer. We should have so many things to do, Used to be able to kayak up and down the river. And now they don't even have that. They closed that company. Probably because it's too dangerous, But it's like, man, fun things like that, you don't really have it anymore. Now, if I want to kayak, I got to drive to Seal Beach or Marina Del Rey, but I'm not going to kayak in Marina Del Rey, that's for sure. That's right next to Venice Beach, So, Rick Russo, he's a developer. He created the Grove. He's in real estate, and he has connection. And just like me, we're not doing much. Like, Rick Russo can be doing so much more than that. I can be doing so much more than this. But we're all limited. I have like a lawyer friend. He's working from home and that guy's so talented. So you have all these like incredible talents and we're all locked in at home, not able to work at our fullest capacity. And this is not good. So anyways, I'm just going to pretend Rick Russo is our mayor. Okay? So that's what he can bring to the table. Then we have artists, right? Which is all you guys and the people in Venice Beach and all the YouTubers, And we have communities which are pretty much led by these artists or by entrepreneurs, but we have like small pockets of communities here and there. And then what I thought about was like, what's the solution? So we can't start a new town. Like I thought about it. I was like, what if we go to a section of like the valley, and we all sell our houses, right? Because trust me, these houses are worth a lot. So let's say we all sell our houses and we start a community. Let's say, right? German in Venice does it. I do it. Let's say we all do that. Let's say, right? Hypothetically, I'm never going to do that because this is my foundation. If I sell this house, I can never buy another one, so I'm never doing that. But let's say, hypothetically, we're brainstorming, right? We all sell our properties and we all open a community. I have a feeling they're going to come and shut it down, just like they're doing with these farms. Hey, listen, if they can go around killing animals in shelters, like, trust me, once Bill Gates sees that we're starting our own town with our own organic food, like they'll come and shut it down in like 2 seconds. So then I was like, all right, so there's no point of like Venice Beach going down and LA going down while we start somewhere else. It makes no sense. Nobody's going to move to the middle of nowhere. Maybe a few would start, but the rest would only move if it's really happening. Like if we start a community and that becomes like a little Burning Man, then everybody would move. But nobody's going to move unless like that community is thriving big time. Like I'm not going to move to a community where they're just starting. Like to me, that's too much of a risk. So that's why they won't move. So I was like, all right, well, we got to build what we currently have. We got to fix what we currently have, right? Not starting from scratch. Starting from scratch in Venice Beach. Starting from scratch in Santa Monica, where there's already the infrastructure for us to just take over, Pretty much something like that. So I'm going to wrap up because other than finding a solution of brainstorming, we've covered pretty much everything. This is wonderful to plant a seed so that people can just start brainstorming on their own. Let's just let this marinate a little bit in our head and see towards what frequency it is leading us. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Ciao.